Hello everyone, how's it going? This is Jason from Stray Basilisk, back again for another coding stream, and this is the third part of our Twitch integrated chess game series, I guess. One of those rare occasions where we don't just start and finish something in one session, but we kind of split this out. It's become a slightly larger project than I'd maybe expected, but it's still shaping up nicely, and I think it's worth putting the time in. Hey! Pagliaccio, did I pronounce that right? How's it going? So I think what I'm going to do is just quickly walk through the state of this now and kind of show you how it works. Also, as I've, in the last week, I've had a couple of thoughts about things which I kind of don't like the way I've done, and code which is a little bit ugly, which I think I can clean up. But basically right now we're at a stage where we have this game here. Awesome. Does it mean something? I mean, I assume it means something. What does it mean is what I meant to ask. So basically the idea is that ultimately this thing will be integrated into Twitch chat, and chat messages from the players will be controlling these pieces. But right now I just have this little text box where I can put stuff in. We don't have the Twitch integration done yet, and that's hopefully what I'm going to try and do this episode. So I can say something like A2 to A4. Or not. I typed that wrong. Hang on. A2 to A4. A2 to A3. A1 to A2. Okay, something's gone weirdly wrong already. Let's figure out what the heck's happening here. Cloud. Oh, okay, yeah, I have heard this word before. Somewhere or other. So something weird is happening. I probably refactored. Let me press play, actually. So A2 to A4. Okay, there we go. So I can make that move. If I try and move that piece again, it's going to tell me down here it's not that piece's turn. So I can move somebody else's piece. So I can go B7 to B5, and I go A4 to B5, and I can take pieces, and they're kind of stacked up down here. So right now the basic piece movement is kind of implemented. I've also got something working where I can ask the game like what the legal moves are for a certain piece. So if I say B1, which is this knight here, question mark, it just kind of highlights the piece and the tiles it's allowed to move to. Yeah, and you can see here a list of stuff to be implemented and how far we've got right now. So we do actually have some of these, the basic movements there. We have some of these special moves, if you like, down there as well. So we have castling and en passant and pawn promotion. What we don't have right now is any way of like detecting check, which means we don't know when the game's over. We don't know when it's check or checkmate or stalemate or anything like that. We also don't have any of these special cases for draws implemented. And honestly, I might actually push that back until I might do the Twitch integration before that. Because even though it's kind of necessary for a full game, it's, these are rare occurrences and we can still play chess without these. So I'm going to put those right at the bottom of the priority list for now. So the way this basically works is we have some game logic code, and it has a load of information about how different pieces are allowed to move. So the knight has these sort of 8 different jumps it's allowed to make. Bishop has these long strings which kind of represent the different directions it can go in. And then there's a system whereby, so 1-1 means this bishop can move like 1 square to the right and 1 up, so it can move diagonally like that. 2-2 means it can move 2 across, so like to here. And then these are grouped together in an array, and the way that the kind of logic works is as soon as one of these moves is blocked, it stops considering subsequent moves. So that's how, it can't move here because it's blocked by a pawn, and that means it stops considering all the other possible moves. So that's kind of how we've encoded how these pieces can move. Bishop, rook, it's similar. The queen, we just shoved together the moves for the bishop and rook in probably a very non-JavaScripty way. I'm not a JavaScript dev by trade really, but I can get stuff done at least. And there's the king. Yeah, so then we create some kind of board state. A board here is just an array where we place the pieces in their default positions. I really should condense that, but okay, let's not. I can't be bothered. I'm too lazy. No, let's do it. Let's do it right now. Okay. Yes. Okay. Do I code JavaScript right? Yes. I mean, I have and do get paid to write JavaScript, but I don't consider myself a front-end dev like by trade. I'm more of like, my expertise is more in like back-end, cloud, infrastructure, architecture kind of stuff. So I code front-end when I need to, and I do it in a quite simple way that probably doesn't fully buy into like all the nice JavaScripty ways of doing stuff, but you know, it gets the job done for me. So I know enough JavaScript to be dangerous, basically, but not enough to be like super succinct and fancy. How about yourself? Do you do much coding yourself, or did you stumble in here off the chess category, or what are you into? My Italian clown friend. Okay, that's slightly, I hope. Like this, for example, right? Like, I feel like this works as a way to, like, condense that down, but I'm sure there's probably a nicer way to do that. And let me check I didn't break anything. Oh, Java. I've spent a lot of time doing Java, so that's probably my main deal, actually. I've probably spent more time doing Java than anything else. So in the same boat there. You know, like, even as like a backend dev, I feel like you end up having to write little front ends and little web apps for like your internal use and dashboards and stuff. So, you know, you pick stuff up. Okay, that done. Okay, there we go. So the board is now set up, and I've at least reduced the lines a little bit. Yeah, here's like the making move logic, and the way this works is it does some checks, like is there a piece? You kind of give it a from and a to location, checks if there's something there, checks if it's that color's turn. It then calls this thing, which will enumerate all the possible tiles something's allowed to move to. One thing this does not do is check for checks, right? So let's do to do check if this puts us in check and disallow it. So that's something still to do. So this legal moves really returns all the legal moves, not accounting for like check related rules. Yeah. This is some ugly stuff that I want to fix. Basically, in this legal move generation code, so for most pieces, we just use this. We just use this data in like a generic way. We basically check if any of these tiles referred to by these like relative positions are filled or not. The only exceptions are pawns, which have the move where they can like do a double move at the start, and also they have en passant, which is where they can kind of take diagonally as they're passing something, and then you also have the king castling move. And right now I do something really, really horrible, which is when I'm generating legal moves. So what do I do here? If it's a pawn, then there's just some special case logic, because pawns are weird. Otherwise, I just use this data to do it in a kind of generic way. If it's a king, then I take all of its like generic moves, like the data-driven moves, if you like, and then I call this generate castling moves, which will check if it's allowed to castle, and if so, it will kind of shove in. So normally this king, right, might be able to move like one square in either direction, but if we're in a situation where it can castle, it can move like 2 squares, so we'll just add that to the list. Which is all well and good, but then later on, where we actually resolve the moves, we then basically need to detect, like if castling just happened, then we also need to move the rook, right? Or if en passant just happened, we need to like take the pawn, even though we didn't like literally jump on top of a pawn, we still need to take it. So there's essentially re-implemented logic here to detect whether castling just happened, right? Like if the king hasn't moved and it's moved to this file, then it's a short castle. And then for the pawn, it's even worse, I think. Yeah, we do. Right, we infer that it must have been en passant, basically by saying, oh, if it moved diagonally and didn't like jump onto something, then the only time that can happen is in en passant. When what I really want to do is probably when the legal moves are generated, to actually tag them to say, hey, this was a castling move or this was an en passant move. So then I can just say, hey, if this move has the long castling tag, then I can do that, and I don't have to like indirectly figure out that it was a long or short castle, if that makes sense. So I think what I'm going to do is, what this returns is a list of these little pairs. So the way I describe a move is like it's like an XY, but to just have it really be shorthandy, I just pack those into a little 2-element array. And I think what I'm going to do is just throw an extra thing in here. So this is 5, 6, 7. So this is short castle. And then I can just directly check, right? And that to me feels way, way cleaner. And then en passant. Yeah, this is kind of ugly, but I feel like it's kind of necessary. The rules for en passant are sort of somewhat complicated. It's like the previous piece, your opponent's piece, has to have literally just moved, and it had to have been a double move, and you have to be in this position, and the tile sort of diagonally in front of you has to be free, and so on. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of tag this move with en passant, so now I can clean up this logic. Where is it? So where's the actual move? What I'm going to do, move tag is null, and then I'm going to say if actually I need to propagate this tag somewhere else. So this offset will contain a third element. So let tag equals right. Again, this is probably not very JavaScripty. Yeah, it's weird. Like I never really comes up, and it's the most ugly bit of logic in the whole thing. Probably this is wrong. I should probably just be pulling it out and getting undefined or something. Right? Is that the more JavaScripty way? I don't know. Because most of the time it won't be there. Ampersand. So file rank tag is tag. Okay. I know I can also do this in the shorthand in JavaScript where you just specify the names if like the keys and values are the same, but there are too many crazy like syntactic sugar things with like object stuff in JavaScript for my liking, so I just don't use them. Okay. So that's en passant. Hey, my Nightbot is successfully killing some of the spam. Awesome. How do I just get rid of this thing entirely? Bye-bye, spambot. Cool. Yeah, I was playing around in another recent stream we had with like the link filtering stuff. It seems to be working okay. Although I wish it actually just cleared it out of the chat. I guess you can still see it's just crossed out now. Okay, whatever. Lost my train of thought there. Okay, so we've now tagged these things with like any special kind of move that they may be. So, and now I can do something. Where are we? move tag equals pull the tag out. And then what I'm going to say, now I can do this in a slightly nicer way, right? So I can say if move tag equals long castle, then I can do this logic here. It's a bit nicer, right? I'm not like doing it in this weird implicit duplicated way. I can take the en passant logic. And what this does is it basically captures the piece in the en passant tile we move to, even though, you know, like I guess we'd have been. So if we have a pawn here and they move here, then we can go here and capture that piece there. That's what this kind of does. It just clears out the piece behind it and adds it to our sort of capture pool, if you like. So, that's a long castle. Cool, so now we can get rid of this, and it's a little bit nicer. Yes, I use processing all the time. Let me show off something, some processing stuff. What's a cool thing? I'm looking through my folder of like 20 different mostly processing actually. I don't know, the editor takes a while to open for me. Always. It's maybe in some really weird state, so. Oh yeah, okay, I remember this now. So this is like an orbital mechanics simulator we did. I think I can like pause this and then, you know, throw another thing in here. You can also make a little ship, and I think we had a way to like thrust. So I think I can use, yeah, so I'm using the arrow keys now. So it's kind of like the Kerbal space program little deal. Oh, I wonder if these all smash into each other. I think we also implemented something for that case. Come on. You know what, let's just shove another planet directly at it. Oh, there we go. So that was one project we did. This was fun. Like, if you check back in the Twitch archive, or if you search this up on YouTube, you'll find all of these, as well as the source code is normally in the comments. What else do we have? What else was cool? Sometimes we just do like visual effects. So this guy here. Oh, okay, it's running super slow because I've set it to like export frames because I make GIFs of these sometimes. Let me turn that off. This is so useful, by the way. I love this about processing the whole save frame deal. Yeah, so this was like a little... This was like a vector field. So all of these little flames and embers are like following this vector field. I'm really inspired by the Coding Train and Dan Schiffman. I'm a big fan, so all of that stuff is a lot of fun to me. What else do we have? One more. I mean, if you see a title that takes your fancy, then I'll show it to you. A couple of these are Unity, a couple of these are Golang. Like we made a Discord bot and stuff like that. Oh, this is a fun one. So this is like a thing where you can place sand and water. Have it kind of flow around and stuff like that. Yeah, so these little things, and normally in a couple of hours we try to do like one of these per stream, and occasionally we do bigger projects. Okay. So let's check if I haven't broken my logic, I suppose. So let's try and do en passant. So let's move A2 to A4, and then, I don't know, H7 to H6, just make a random move. A4 to A5, B7 to B5, and now A5 question mark. Yeah, so there's the en passant move it's allowing me to do. I think that's right. This is en passant, right? A5 to B6, boop, and we copied it up. There we go. I will trust that that's working for castling as well. Cool. I think we can call that done. That's kind of been cleaned up. So the next thing is detecting check. And the way I want to do that is, it would be nice to maybe... So we've got get legal moves. So I want something which is like, am I under attack? Or is a certain square under attack, I suppose. Just thinking if this needs to be more complicated. So let me... Okay, I'll just start making something here. Board. Piece. So... do we have get opposite color? A thing? Yeah. We need to find that somewhere. I guess we'll call this attacking color. And I guess all we need to do really is sort of loop over every opponent's piece and find out its legal moves, and if its legal moves contain our piece, then we can return it. Although there's a slight quirk about this that I'm going to have to account for, and it's going to make it more complicated, and it's kind of annoying. Okay, so let's do the dumb way that's going to be buggy first. So I must loop over a ranking file somewhere. So there we go. Equals get piece at board. All this get piece at does is it does some bounds checks. Actually, I wouldn't need it here, but okay, I'm going to use it anyway. So if continue, and then if piece.color is not equal to okay, And now I just get all of its legal moves. And I need to pass in. This isn't the best like IDE. I'm used to like hovering over to see the parameters, so we need the. Okay, you need the game state, not just the board. Okay, so. Game state. And this is. Moves. Yeah, that would have been an issue, yes. Okay, this is... Maybe I'm really too anal, but this annoys me, right? Because it might not be the attacking piece. I refilter it out here. I want to call it attacking piece because that's what I want it to be, but at the moment it's just some other piece. So part of me wants to say I can't call it attacking piece because it's not necessarily an attacking piece. I should just call it other piece, but it may not even be another piece. It may be the same piece. Sorry, I'll just... That's the kind of thing that philosophically bothers me a little bit. Okay, so basically we need to find out if for move of, well, attacking move of so just loop over those and we say if move dot file is equal to file and dot rank equal to position dot rank, then we're under attack, right? Yeah. We're under attack, so we can say, you know, opponent's piece can move onto our tile, so under attack. So this is a reason why I didn't want get legal moves to filter out moves which are illegal because of check related stuff, because it may be that our opponent's piece can't actually move, right, because it's like pinned to the king or something, but it still can put us in check even though it couldn't ever take the king because it would put itself in check if it did. So that's why I want that phase to be kind of separate. So that's what we do, and then we just return false otherwise. The question is, can you see the bug here? Like, can you see the edge case which we're not considering? It would be nice to... Okay, let's... I kind of wanted a way to like visualize or like test this somewhere. Maybe I can just do... Okay, let's go straight to is in check because that would be a nice way to kind of test this. Yeah, so what I do, again, this is my preference, is if it's not of that color, then I continue, meaning that I like skip that piece. So, you know, if I'd have just done this in an if, then that'd be exactly right. But I prefer not to nest stuff, and I'd rather like just bail out of a loop or a function. So this is generally the way I do that. So I think this is right. Basically, the bug I'm thinking about is I want to be able to say, like, assume some of these pawns went here, right? Maybe my king's like here. And there's a rook like bearing down on it, right? So it's in check. I want to be able to say, if I moved here, would I be in check, right? That's kind of the purpose of this. It's to kind of figure out if the king's under attack, and that's going to tell you whether a move's legal or not, because you can't make a move that leaves your king under attack or puts your king under attack. But right now, when we evaluate all the rook's possible moves, so if the king's here, the rook's legal move is like any tile down this row, but it stops at the king. So it's going to think that this tile is safe for the king because the king in its old position is kind of guarding it in its new position. So does that make sense? I think what we'd actually need to do is, a hacky way would be to first like move the piece to that position, like move the king, actually move the king in the game state, then do the check, and then like move it back. Another way would be to say somehow like when we generate the legal moves, we'd need a special way to say, oh, by the way, override the king's position to like some other position, which would get really messy. Or probably the cleaner way, but the kind of pain in the arse way, is to copy the entire game state and move the king, right? And then check in that context, if that makes sense. And actually, I may just do that because how do I do a deep clone? I don't want any external stuff. That's a shallow copy. So what's the... Hello, Yuta, how's it going? I'm sure I could figure this out by like just some recursive thing with properties and stuff. I'm just looking for a little snippet. I mean, this is this works, right? I've probably done this before. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to do this for now because I'm a terrible, terrible person. There's also no code inside the game state, so... would be under attack, I want to say. Okay, something like this. Yeah. I mean, deep clone is not always like super trivial, but so let's like... Just gonna say cloned state dot board 2.file 2.rank equals so what we're doing is kind of okay, and this can change to okay, I think that should cover it. I mean, Okay, so let me... And in fact, let me function is under attack. Let me actually do it this way kind of as well. Because this seems a bit nicer. Just kind of refactoring this a bit. So what I will do is I will, and then so if you, has anyone played that crazy 5-dimensional time travel chess? This is kind of like that, right? We're like making the move in a hypothetical world. Okay, that's nicer, I think. So this allows us to... This isn't actually what we want. Because actually we only ever care about the king being under attack. And it might be another piece that moves, so... Okay. Does that do a deep clone? So this contains... The game state contains like a nested array, and then there's objects inside that array. I mean, I guess I could just make a little clone. Probably what I'll do is make a clone function that recursively does that object assign on all the properties and stuff. I guess that's how you do it. I probably should just put a library in that will do that for me, but... I mean, this would be okay for like the king moving, basically, but we need to be able to say, would the king be under attack if any given piece moved? So let's say moving piece. Actually, I think this works. So we can say piece moving from, this a bit more verbosely, moving to, so we don't, okay, we need that for the, okay. So in this game state, is this piece at this position under attack, yes or no? That's what this will tell us. So the idea is that we could call this saying, here's the game state, here's our king's position, here's the piece that's trying to make a move. Here's the piece, here's the position it's going to move to. So then we kind of simulate the move of the piece. And then we check if the piece to check, which is probably the king. Actually, we could just call this king, right? Because this is a bit less generic, but it does the job. Will you add AI later? My plan is no. I mean, doing this is the first step to adding AI, right? Because it's all about looking at provisional game states and potential game states and stuff like that. So the AI is all about, this is kind of like what the AI does, and then it simulates a move and then does some evaluation. But the idea is for guys like you in the chat to be able to say, do like exclamation mark chess or something, and then somebody else can like accept the challenge, and then you can just put in like chess notation and play against each other like in the overlay somewhere. That's kind of the idea for this. So it's like a 2-player Twitch chat based chess game. Okay, this is nicer. Okay, Now this is at least generic, but this is pretty good, I think. So this will be pretty useful to tell if a move is illegal because it puts us in check. So let me do something like oh, got this here. So it is in check. So annoyingly we have to kind of find the piece like this. Because the piece is just stored in the array and we don't have like a list of pieces or other redundant references to anything. So game state, file. This is where I want the little autocomplete pop-up that tells me the function signatures. I don't want that so bad. So if is null, then continue. If piece.color, color, and piece.type king, then actually let's do this my preferred way. We can do this all in one thing like this. So now we know it's the king. We can say return is under attack. Okay, I think that will do. So let me just quickly use this somewhere. Maybe after a move is made, just to kind of debug for now. So if is in check. I've written a lot of code without running the game, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is not going to work first try. Or it's just going to throw an error immediately. Let us try and check the king. So let's just go D2, D4. I really should put, oh, there you go, there's an error. I really should put the coordinates on the board. So 327. Which isn't actually 327 because this IDE like does some manipulation. So I now need to do this, which is really annoying. Oh. Interesting. What happened there? T0 of undefined. So that must have been in the this check, right? Why is that? So I actually haven't tried the debugger with this. I wonder how that's going to work. because probably every time I run it's gonna like regenerate. Like where even is this stuff? Right, because it's going through some filters like on the back end. Preview. Okay, forget that. Let's do this a bit more manually. 284. So 161, 314, 161. Okay, it's definitely in check, which makes sense that that's where the error is. 314. Get piece at game state file rank. Oh, that should be the board. Okay. Pass through the game state. I should have passed the board. Under Webpack? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think we'll muddle through this just for now at least. So, piece at game state dot board. Oh, my hero. Nice one. Awesome work. Okay. What's the obj? Amazing. Thank you so much for that. That's great. Yeah, I mean, this is the like deep JavaScript stuff that I'm like just not super familiar with. Using all the streamy, like mappy, map producey type stuff. Awesome. So yeah, that's way nicer, right? There we go. So A2, A4. Oh. What's going on there? 294. Four, get piece at. Yeah, we don't have the board, we have the game state. Okay. Do we need the game state? Yes, we do. Okay. Game state dot board. Let's try once more. 284. Hey, Mr. PhD, thanks so much for the follow there and for the little snippet. So line 201. When this is done, I'm going to switch to like VS Code or something, and because we're going to start the Twitch integration, which probably requires a bit of backend stuff. So, oh yeah, this thing's so annoying. Okay, 201. Yeah, this is what it does. It basically there's this IDE where you can run stuff, and it injects some stuff to detect infinite loops, so the line numbers no longer line up. So that's kind of annoying. What's going on here? Oh, we're probably passing something weird in. He's passing something weird in here. 3, 4, 4. When we're checking random pieces. And then 320. Checking piece, file, rank. What's going on here? You know what? Shall we jump ship to not running this in this editor? Maybe it's the time, right? It's the time, because we're wasting time on all this debugging that would be infinitely easier if I could just use the browser stuff. It's nice for prototyping, but at a certain point, it's just a massive pain in the ass. Okay, so I've just created a folder here, and I am going to... Oh, I shook the window. That's the thing, isn't it? Okay. And I'm just gonna... Can I download the project? Can I download? That doesn't look like a download button. What is that? Download. Cool. Oh, save. And download. Open this up. Cool. No, so the art is from... Actually, I should put a credit in here, which I normally do. So, Open Game Art is a really good site for... I mean, the quality really varies, to be fair, but it's a great site for these like placeholder assets. Let's find the one, because I want to properly credit them as well. I think it's this one here. Yeah, it's Creative Commons Attribution License, so Lucas312. Okay, trying to be a good internet citizen by crediting people. Okay. Let's dump all that stuff into a folder. The other quite good site is gameicons.net. But once you see these, you start noticing them. There's loads of them, but you start noticing them in like, yeah, over 4,000. You start noticing them in games like all over the place, and you can't really unsee that. Let's open a folder. Sorry, I'm just on the other page. Opening our folder in VS Code now. There we go. Cool. If anyone's a JavaScript person, what's the best way for me to like turn this into a project where I can like serve this and like set up npm? I have only ever done that in the context of like a, like an Angular or like a Vue project, where I've just used the template. If I just want to create something to like serve and do hot reloads, is there a super quick way to do that? I mean, right now I can at least just open this in my browser and refresh it, which wouldn't be the end of the world, to be honest. Not that browser, please. Ooh. It's done some weird conversion. Yeah, like this, the little live server thing is what I want, really. So, has it screwed up my stuff somehow? Oh, we do not want that, because it's gonna really mess things up. Just figuring if I need to serve this from a server. Yeah, failed to fetch, so... Or VS Code live server? That is the VS Code thing. So ultimately, I think this is going to need a little node backend, so I may just want that basic skeleton. Yeah, that little Python server is really cool as well. You know what? Yeah, that's a good idea. Got Python here, right? What? It's not my path. Definitely have Python installed. Oh, okay, so I've got this Sigwin thing. Kind of want to run it from in here. Okay, for now, let's just... Sigwin, yeah, I used to use Sigwin all the time, but now everything comes with like get bash and stuff integrated, so it's pretty nice. I don't generally need it. So -m server. Okay. Hell yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Mr. PhD doing thank you so much. Okay, let's see what's happening. Now we can actually debug this thing properly. Yeah, look at that. Just right there. Look at them. Okay. 8284. Okay, that seemed to work. That's kind of weird. Let's try and put the king in check, I suppose. So E7, E5. That's weird. Now it keeps flicking back to that piece's turn. Very strange. The error has gone, but like now something else weird is happening. Let me, I guess, put this somewhere convenient for us. here. I can ditch this. I can pull this open. This is kind of okay. Okay. Get rid of the minimap. Okay. Nothing weird happening. And let's also put like a console somewhere. Oh, you know what? Can I just dock this? Where are we? How do I dock the console? Okay. That's kind of okay. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. We're getting somewhere. This is kind of usable. Only kind of, though. Let's just make it way bigger. Okay. So there's some code in here. Game logic. Now it's all in one folder, which is kind of annoying. Alright, so there's like a make move. Right? I think open processing has done something, right? Because that's not like this should be get opposite color. Okay, let's see if it's mangled any of our other source code here. Or somehow been lost somehow. Okay. A to A4. Okay, now it's the dark player's turn. Good. that was really weird. Okay, let's bring the queen out. D to D4. E5, D4. Take D1, D4. So now I'm hoping that if I move the queen over, then it will detect that the king's in check. A7, A6, D4, E4. Yes. Okay. That's good. It's detected. Check. I'm just going to move my little. This is Python. I guess you don't need to see that really. Yes. Okay. It's detecting check. That's sweet. So it won't. It will still allow me to move, right? So E8 to E7. It's fine. Dark king in check. Thank you. Yeah, this is progress. This is progress. Now we've got check detection. The rest of the logic I feel is not too crazy. So E4, E5, I don't know, still a check. Okay, I'm just going to kind of trust that that probably works. We should probably try and block the check. God, I wish I was better at chess. What's the best way to block this thing? So I'll kind of move D7 to D5. I'll then just move the queen E5 to E4. Just move back and then go C8 to E5. Nope. So C8 to E6. Okay, let's block the check. No longer in check. Awesome. Sweet. Can I just? Is this too small to read? Is this okay? Should I increase the font size a bit? Is there a zoom, or do I just need to? I would do that, but the idea is that this is purely. I mean, partly I'm just lazy. But I'm thinking I can get away with not having any UI interaction because it's going to be in an overlay, purely controlled by chat ultimately. So I don't think I necessarily want all of that stuff. It would be nice for testing. It would be really nice for testing. So maybe I should have done it for that reason alone, but as it stands right now, I did not, for better or worse. Yeah, right, like way easier to debug, or even just like labeling things. I could do it quite easily. I could hack that in pretty nice. Okay. Wondering, have a should probably put get so it's going to be grid size. It's going to be 8 minus web size. Oh. And then I'll probably just hack this in a way like where's my input? Honestly, yeah, you've saved me time already. I feel like you have a good instinct for when it's worth doing this stuff. Okay, so equals get position y. So let's say if dot file less than 8. Then yeah. Oh, this is great. This is like pair programming. If that's the case, then I'm going to do something really hacky. How do I set the value? The function, okay. Actually, this is a weird thing you have to do in JavaScript, isn't it? So. Okay. So let's say okay. Aha. Thank you. I will sort that out after this. So. will this do the job? 7. Yeah. I think you're right. Let us. Oh, we have debugger now, so we can. Okay, now I want to pop this up. Over. What boss is 6.2? Okay. Oh. Have I done something silly here? Oh, it's just XY. Okay, that's incorrect. So it should be file and rank. So now I'm going to trust this now. Okay. It's not triggering this event, so I'm just going to pull this out to this is hacky. This will be replaced by like the parsing on the from the chat API, but I've just kind of hacked together a bit of oh, I'm editing in the wrong thing here. So I got it like try to make a move. Oop. Okay. Try to make the move when there is an input, and we'll also try to make the move here, which should hopefully mean oop, so it's dropped in there. Oop. Nope, that was wrong. Ditch that quickly, see what it actually puts in. B1, B3. Seems okay to me. Ooh. Debugger time, yeah. So, sketch. So, go. I mean, okay, so it's going to bail out because it's the wrong size. Yep, so that's fine, that's what it should do. And then 2. So, let's get to value through here. C1, C2. Okay, that should be okay. Let's resume. Okay, the move is C1, C2. Yep. Illegal move. Oh. It seems to think that piece has no legal moves. What's going on? So, A2. Get rid of these breakpoints for a second. A2, question mark. Okay. A2 to A3. Huh. Want this piece's turn, okay. Oh, we've gotten off by 1. No, we haven't. Oh, okay, I know what it is. I did 0 instead of 1. Oh. Yes. Chess players start counting from 1, like weird human beings. Okay. Yes, there we go. I think this is still worth it. Oh my god, this is amazing. Dark there. Oh, this is so much nicer. If you look in the console, we should see Dark King in check. Yes, we are. Okay, we're really getting somewhere here. Awesome. Okay, so let's do something like. Basically, we need to do the thing where we need to use this, right? Oh. So what we do is we maybe, I don't know how it works, so I don't know. So it's gonna go really weird and recursive for a second, but here's my overlay. Let me ditch that as well. Like, this is an embedded web page, right? But I can't interact with it. What did I even just move? I don't know. So it would be something like this, which I think is not mouse interactable. So that's the idea. I wouldn't have a program open. I'm actually going to embed a web page in my Twitch overlay. And the idea then is that other people could just, because if I like look at the way this works, it's pretty, OBS is pretty amazing, to be honest. Like if I look at the Twitch chat, all it is like a URL for my chat and then some CSS. So people could hit a URL for like the chess bot, and it would just be embedded in here, and all the logic would hook into their chat and stuff like that. That's kind of the idea here. So yeah, no, I actually the clicking is actually very nice for testing, and it makes it a pretty playable like 2-player game just on your own. So so when we make the moves, it's not legal, then it's illegal. Okay, now we can do this. And I can just remove if. Okay, so I think, where's the is king in check? Is king in check. It's going to be handy, I think, to like be able to find the king of any given color. So we can just repeat this. So we can say if piece is not equal to null, and piece.color color. If it's the king, then I'm going to return just do it. Okay. This is going to be quite useful. So let king equals find king. Is that dot board color. Keep the piece. Position. This is going to be nicer. It's kind of faster in a way. Here. I wasn't totally sure. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I ended up doing, I guess. Okay, that's nice, I think. So I mean, this can definitely be tidied up a little bit later. So let's say let's find our king. Find king. If so, here's the game state. There's our king. The king's position is dot piece. King dot position from 2. Okay, let's see if this works. I forgot I can click as well, so let's put the console over here. So let's do the same kind of thing we did before. Oh, proper stack traces, awesome. So our king is, this is not working. Probably another similar error. Board is null, so we're doing something. Okay. Slowly getting there. And again. Man. He's moving to. Oh, so that's how you do like conditional breakpoints. Okay, that's cool. That's nice. I did not know that. Thanks again for that. Yeah, see, I'm not so familiar with like the JavaScript idioms and ecosystem and the good workflow, basically. That's actually pretty useful to know. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen that debugger command somewhere, but I've never really thought to use that. So what was happening here? We were passing in probably some crappy information. So piece moving to was probably null. And that was happening here. This is so nice. Okay. Actually having some IDE stuff. So game state, there's the king position. Is it not from and to? So what's going on here? Let's breakpoint time, I guess, or actually up here. So we have the we have the to, we have our king, which is the king is expected, it has a position. So step in, copy over this. Let's check that. I trust that your cloning code worked. Oh. That's weird. Is it me, or is this like not what this should look like? So this should be the key and this should be the value. Yeah, okay, I think that cloning code is wrong. Okay, let's figure this out. Get to entries. Good old copy and paste from Stack Overflow. Correct, it seems to kind of be. Let's try again there. So issue was it there? Oop. Oop. That. Ah. Okay, didn't like that. Okay. I can try to debug the old one. What was? Probably want to rewrite this in a more verbose way. It's probably like if type. It's like if type of equals array. It's not being handled properly. Maybe. Try and see where this code came from. Okay, I'm gonna put this back for now. I'm sorry. Yeah, but like the first thing there's an array with the key of board and the values in array, and it put board as index 0, like key 0 value board. And then the board is like index 1 or key 1 value of the array. So something weird happened with mapping of the properties inside. What's wrong with there? Yeah. Because though we'll use the JSON for now. I mean, yeah, the right way is just to import some other library, but I'm sort of the kind of person who has an aversion to like using libraries for like tiny little things like that. Maybe I'm not fit for JavaScript if that's my philosophy, but you know. Okay, let's get the console visible. Let's do some stuff. Oh. Oh. Okay, let's check the king. Light king is in check. Let's try and move him still in check. Doesn't like that. Oh. Yeah, if you want to paste another one-liner, I'll happily throw it in. Okay, they did not work. I think that's because that reduce should have the second argument. So like back here, like that. Yeah, this is too succinct for me. I'm gonna at least do this. It makes it a little bit more sane for me to understand. Okay. Nice, okay. Let's try en passant. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I think the issue I had is I accounted for pieces moving, but I didn't account for moving the king itself, so let me do this. So another light king's in check. It probably won't let me do that. Move leave king in check. Okay, still let me do it. That's kind of weird. Oh, it's the light place. Okay. Okay, something weird is happening here. I feel like this isn't deep copying this thing. Am I crazy? I feel like it's shallow copying it. Right? I might have just created an infinite recursion. Yep. Okay. Okay, I feel like this is not... This is a shadow copy, right? Just assigns the properties, like there's nested, deeply nested stuff, so it needs to be recursive surely, so let's just do this for now, because I think that was causing an issue. Okay, liking in check. It's apparently legal, but that's not right. Okay. Oh. Yeah, that's the thing where the king is like blocking itself, so if it's light player, I shouldn't be able to do this because it leaves me in check. Okay, well, I should be able to do this. Okay, so the one issue is the king can still block themselves. So let's figure out what's going on in that situation. So if I go So it's really like there needs to be a special case if it's the king, maybe. If he's dot type king. So this can be kind of different because it's actually 2. The king's now in that position. Otherwise we can do this. Okay. Okay, the king's in check. Ooh. Ah. Actually, the same piece. Move. View. View. Oh, sorry. Now, shouldn't be able to do that. Also shouldn't throw a horrible error. Nice, move leaves king in check. Shouldn't be able to do some random ass move like that. Leave the king in check, but I should be able to block the check. Cool. And now that I'm pinned here, I shouldn't be able to like leave the king out to dry. But now I can. Cool. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's almost there. Okay, now we can detect checkmate, and I think we're pretty much done. So yeah, this is a bit funky. It's like we like simulate the piece move, but we need to. It's slightly different for the king because we need to see if they're in check, not in their current position, but in their hypothetical position. So we like simulate that move and then check if in the new position they are. It's kind of a factor of the fact that we keep passing the piece and the position when those may be. They're not necessarily in sync, if that makes sense, because the pieces don't know their own position. That's only inferred by their location, like in the grid. Okay, so I mean, this is redundant, right? Because you can only put the opposite. Because we've now got this check, you can only put like the opposite color in check at the end of a move. So that. Okay, let's just do it here. So we only need to check. Like that, right? So let's do checkmated down here somewhere. Is king check. So we'll pull that out. Let's enumerate their legal moves, which you already do up here somewhere. Get game state piece position. Okay. Use game state king dot piece king dot position. So that has let move of go over all of these, and then we need to do this kind of deal, right? Like checking if kind of the same thing we did here actually. Right, so we've sort of enumerated the potentially legal moves here. What does this actually return? Moves. File, rank, attack. Okay, that's fine. Where are we? Game state. King dot piece. Move dot 2. 2. not the case, then has, well, return false. Don't need this. Which don't. Okay. There is one thing this doesn't account for, which is castling, and the rules around check and castling. So that's something I will also try and get done, I think. So put this back. So can't put yourself in check. Can't. No, there's no guide. This is entirely like made up on the spot. It's kind of messy. It's kind of hacked together. The idea of these streams is like, so Mycroft is that each time we like make something more or less from scratch and just figure it out. So like sometimes intuition or like things I've worked on before. But no, there's no like guide to it. I'm using a framework called P5JS, which gives you some. It's very simple. It basically gives you like a setup function that it calls once, and then like a draw function which it calls every frame, and then it gives you a load of drawing stuff. But aside from that, it's all just kind of custom thrown together, really. I need to check for checkmate. So if is king checkmated. Let's actually do it like this. Okay. Now let us test my chess ability and see if I can checkmate somebody without going totally all over the place. Oh. Where's that coming from? That was weird. I saw a little error popping up. I think it was an old one. Okay, let me just. What's the? I don't even know like the scholar's mate pattern. I should know this stuff. Okay, let's just quick play like something really obvious and just get rid of a load of pawns. Do something kind of simple. So let's get the queen way out there. Oh. Interesting. Okay. So I've checked the king here, but something weird has happened here. And where did this happen? So what was null? Piece moving 2 was null. Okay, and that was set at 349. Oh, you know what? It's just move, right? And moved up from, no, it's just the king position. So we're going from king dot position to move. I think it's not decloning this time, I hope. What did I do there? Yeah, so I just like some funky stuff like this. Just take everything. Oh, okay, it's in check, of course. Okay, that didn't crash, that's good. So I can do this. It's happy with that. I can take this. Won't let me do that. It probably will. I mean, it's going to let me take it like that, but that's no fun, so it won't let me do that. Okay. So, well, I guess I have to take it now. That's kind of annoying. Okay. Just play through and like just put this away. Oh, not this piece of turn. Okay. Move. Let's just put this somewhere else and like do a back rank or something. Let's dock this down. So go there. Go here. Of course. So I can't go there. I can go here. Yeah, that would be nice. That'd be nice. Why is it taking me so long to checkmate? God damn it. Okay. You can tell I'm not a great chess player. I'm just gonna sort of clear everything up and like do some really dumb back rank thing. Of course, okay. So not player. Pull this back for now. Out here. Oh, of course, okay. Awesome, thank you. Okay, let's not do that just yet. Dark player, so let's move this here. I'll go here. Checkmated. Okay. I think we've done it. I think this worked. And I'm gonna once again go for Mr. PhD's deep copy. Ooh. I do like the one-liners. I mean, they are kind of cool. Yeah, so now you've got like the... Yeah, well, this crazy spread stuff is just not my wheelhouse, but we shall see. Let's see now if this works. Whoop. Did I miss like a bracket or something? Yeah, let's try that. Peglatio. Is this working now? Still doesn't like it. Doesn't account for nulls, maybe? Let's put that back for a second. It's actually harder than it looks to do, to do this deep copy thing. We should keep it there. I'm confident we will get it. Okay, can you uncheck the king by taking one of White's pieces? I hope so. So let's get our lovely queen out here. And then... like this, right? Boop. Yeah, works just fine. Awesome. I think we did that. Okay. Let's detect stalemate. So this is interesting. So how is this going to work? So just add another thing here. Is stalemated. And this is going to be very similar to this actually, isn't it? Let's start duplicating a bit of logic which I don't super like. Okay. So it's very much like this, same thing. It piece. Piece at this position. If would be king, would be under attack if moved. So let's forget the king again. So this logic is so similar. Yeah, okay. If piece.type. So I think we also need this logic. Right, so otherwise it's more like yeah, null is an object. Is null a type or an object? Yeah, one of these weird things. Okay. Turn. So I think we may have done it. PhD. I think you may have earned your earned your doctorate there. Yeah, there's so many edge. Yeah, there's so many edge cases though, you know. It's the sort of thing. It's like, oh, it's just so easy. It's like a one-liner, but it's like not exactly that easy. Whoa. Did you see that? It reverted to an old thing, to an old state. I'm sorry, I'm blaming this again. So it must have been something to do with where we cloned this state and then something leaked, like some reference got leaked, and we made a change, you know, and it like sort of reverted in some way. I'm not sure exactly what happened, to be fair. Let's get someone in check again. It's a, you know, there's a reason why people use JSON JSON stringify for this stuff, I think. Because it's actually way easier. Yeah, so they're in check now. It was the king move, right? It was like a king move that messed it up. So can we do like this? And then the king had like popped back. Okay, I think that's fixed it. I think it was something again. Like whether it does the array get deep copied? I don't know. Because it's a multi-dimensional array, so I guess it's like an array of arrays, so maybe it deep copied the outer level of the array, but not the like inner nested one. Something like that. Because if it's an array, it just... Oh, awesome. Hey, 8toes, thanks for the tip. Thankfully, this data, I'll show what it looks like actually. It's super plain, and it's just... Where is it? It's very hacky. It's just some object literals. There's no... And they've just got like strings and numbers inside, basically, and arrays of numbers, and it's all quite nested, but there's nothing funky. There's no functions in there or anything like that. Okay, so there's that. We could do... let's draw that. So if piece.type equals king and is in check, is king in check. We need the game state. Okay. Kind of annoying, but worth it. So this, I think, is suggested a while back to like highlight the tile if the king's in check. So I kind of want to do that. Dot color. And we're gonna get that screen position. Stroke. It's not a stroke anyway. Fill. Okay. Ooh. Did something wrong here. Oh yeah, so I'm not actually passing that in. Draw pieces, game state. Still an issue. Save, save. Restarting my little Python server. I'm assuming that's not the issue. Maybe I'd do it in another place. Okay, that's weird. Save, please. Control F5. Okay, probably just cached. Okay. Let us check the king. Yeah, it was cached. I did control refresh and it seemed to be okay. Hahaha. Why is it showing that around it? So there was a... Oh, it's because there was a... There was a... I should have done no stroke. Although that kind of looks better, maybe, so let's actually do... Here's what I did. Just make this scary red. Oh, then listen, I will control F5. Haha. So now we have check highlighted. So you have to take the queen or something. Okay, awesome. So I think we now... Okay, I'm gonna have... So in theory stalemate should work. Okay, no, we're not triggering the check, so make move. I was just about to play a whole game to get the king into stalemate, which can take ages, and then not actually have the code ever check. So if is stalemated game state, what's the color? Okay. And let me quickly check this again. So we find the king, go through every piece of the king's color. We get its position, that's because we need to refer to it a couple of times. We get all its legal moves, we check. That's wrong, that should be position. I'd like to wrap this up into something actually, but it's maybe repeated twice. Like generally if I repeat something like 3 times, then I feel like I... yeah, okay. Okay, let's check this stalemate stuff. So I guess I just need to play a whole game. So I know how to stalemate the king if it gets down to like king and queen sort of situation. So let's try and do that. What's happening with these clicks here? So something in stalemate is going wrong. Oh, it's not piece position, it's just position. The bot prefers JSON stringify. Why did it think that was a link? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna have to kill this bot because it's doing something weird. That it's trying to detect links, and I mean, you are posting code in the chat, which may be JavaScript code nonetheless, which probably scares it slightly. So I'm just gonna trade off everything. Not up there. Hopefully I don't checkmate myself by accident. Take some more light pieces here. I'm so glad we have mouse controls though. Can you imagine me trying to do this without mouse controls? Gotta be careful not to do some weird checkmate. Yeah. So I want to keep a king and queen on one side. I'm just going to stalemate it with the queen because I know how to do that in like the king-queen endgame. Basically just shove them into the corner. Aha. That's nice. Let's do something with this. Oh, sorry, dark layer. Yeah, I'll probably do. Yeah, oh, I forgot about castling. You're right. I could have just manually. That's what I kind of did before, actually, on previous streams. Was I just hacked out and removed certain pieces entirely. Okay, now getting close. Sorry, light player. Take that. Okay, now you can just use Queenie to clean up a bit. So if I just shove the king like right in the corner, like here, right? So then I can go I can't do that. So I can go here, I can go here, then I can go here, and then I can stalemate the king like this. Let's see if it comes up in the console. Yeah! It's a draw. Stalemate has occurred. So that seemed to work just fine. Pretty pleased with that. So last thing here, in terms of basic gameplay, is can't castle through or out of check. So I think that should be relatively easy. Spawn 4 queens. Yeah. So what was it? Generate castling moves. So yeah, that's here. So I'm going to say if let's see what this is called. If is game state piece. Okay, so there's that. So I think what we need to do is here, right? So we just push on like this little offset moving to a cross. So I think pawn promotion, yes, that does work. Not by mouse control, but you can do like a7, a8, queen, something like that. That does work, yeah. Let me check for the king move, ideally. Okay. So if that piece, so let's equal file is going to be where are we? Let me look at the board actually. So it's when we're going from 5, it's like 6 and 7 we need to check. Short side, okay. 6 rank. So this is not the prettiest code, but I think this will kind of do. Two steps. Right? I mean, actually 2 steps is already accounted for because later on that will be filtered out. So it's actually the, I'll call it like the intermediary move. Does that make sense? Or is this just... Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So then we can do something similar here. Okay, this is the long castle, and intermediary move is 4. It's that kind of logic, right? So we have to check. The king's going to move 2 spaces, but we need to check if they were to move 1, would that put them in check? And if so, we rule that out. Okay. So let us... Well, you know what would be nice? There's a little... Now we have debug stuff, so... Say if... Mouse button... Is that what it's called? I thought I'd implement the whole chat integration today. That is not happening. If mouse button equals left, okay. So if mouse button left, then we'll do this. Otherwise, if he's at the board, you know what, I can just say right, basically I want to just be able to reload this and then, oh, something funky happened. That's weird. Is that real or is that okay? That's kind of odd. So where's this happening? Is under attack, cause Google moves. Okay, what am I seeing here? It's not going to get part of the stack, which doesn't help. Can I expand this somehow? Yeah, right. So something's getting legal moves is calling get under attack, which calls get legal moves. So this must be in the context of checking for the king being in check, right? Okay, it's here. Can we avoid this? Let me see. I guess we could just not. I was going to say at a certain point we could just not consider kings because they can't, a king can't check a king. So we could avoid that circular thing there, I think, by doing that. But that feels a little bit... Right, so we could just do this. I don't like that because it means that this move is no longer like general purpose, right? It's fine in this context of detecting checks, but it's no longer a general, like, are you under attack move? So is there a better way to fix this? I think this will work, right? I don't really like it. It feels like a bit impure, even for me. Any ideas? Okay, what can I do here? The issue is... Okay, is this actually circular? So the legal moves for a king depend on what moves would put them in check. Or depend on whether they're in check, and if they're in check depends on what moves. Okay, so... Okay, this is kind of horrible, but... Should have done a proper rename. Okay, this is somewhat better because it's no longer general purpose, but at least the name now reflects that. So I've deferred solving the problem of how we'd actually implement an is under attack function that works in all cases without any circular dependencies, but I've at least like named it to reflect that. So let's do something like, what we're going to do, we're going to test castling. through check and whatnot. So let's pull some stuff out here. Nope, dark player's turn. Let's pull some stuff. Pull some stuff. Oh, I keep forgetting there are turns involved. So E1 question mark. Error. King is not defined. Black king. Piece dot piece, yeah. Because I copy pasted this from elsewhere, where it kind of made more sense. Okay, I think that's it. Hey, Ben1 Smart, thanks so much for the follow there. Much appreciated. Let us continue our quest to test our castling. So, E1 question mark. Okay, castling move is there. Let us try and get rid of it by looking with a rook or something. Get the rook out. Okay. Whatever. Okay, let's push this. Nope, dark player. Let's push this. Let's do a random move. Oh, sorry. Why did I do that? I just removed my casting thing, and I also forgot I made this debug thing where I can delete stuff. Okay, slightly annoying, the context menu, but this is be way nicer. Okay, so now I can pull this out. So E1 question mark. Okay, looks sensible to me. Let's put him in check. E1 question mark. That makes sense, right? Yeah, he can no longer... Oh, that's no good. But that's going to get blocked out by check. Okay, so that thing is not filtering out stuff which is blocked by check, which is kind of okay. Aha, thank you. So I can block like that. Now if I put this dude here, oh, it's gonna, damn it, it's gonna put the king in check. So let me just move that king, and then move it again. So now we have this. So E5 question mark. Nope, sorry, E1 question mark. Okay, it seems to think he can move through it, but again, I think it's because our debug rendering is only doing the legal move checks and not the other stuff. So we can try that. Okay, that's no good. It did not do what we hoped, so. it's 6, but it's not 6, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I just had an off by 1 because of 0 indexing. I think that's it. Yeah, that worked. Thanks again, PhD. Let me do some random crap. Do this, put this here. E1. Aha. I mean, hopefully it won't actually let me do that because of check. It won't let me do that either. But if I push this and then move this here, then I can castle. Awesome. Pretty sure that works. Let's try long castling just to be sure. Nice one. Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in. We tend to do these every Thursday at the same time, give or take half an hour maybe. Probably the next stream will also be chess, and we're going to actually get the chat integration working. Because looking at our lovely to-do list right now, we have... I believe we've got chess working, right? Like, all of the basic move stuff is there, I think. We haven't done the edge case draw detection, but I don't even really care about that. I feel like for casual players, that's not that big of a deal. And I'm going to work on truth integration first, probably. This also means more tracking of like board states and stuff, which is not super fun. Yeah, see you next time. Take care, man. And you know, in fact, if this works and my casting check is okay, I think we'll probably call it a day here because we have made a whole load of progress and we've got something pretty cool working, if I do say so myself. I'm pretty pleased with this. So let me... Boop. Yeah, I mean, it's going to tell me I can do it, but it won't actually let me do it. But if I move my... Oh, if I move rook away, then I can castle. Oh! It moved the wrong rook. That is... interesting. Okay. Yeah? Oh, okay. You're right. So... yeah, you know, this is the kind of things that I just... wouldn't think to do. I guess you can just do it like that, right? Okay, what went on with my... I think it was... So right at the beginning of the stream I did something here. Ah, yeah, okay. You lose f5 and stuff. Okay. Yeah, I just had this copied away, so the rook. So the rook is at... So this should go 1, 2. That should go here, right? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I believe it's 3. Should be 0. Dot alt. Okay. Oh yeah. Is that even defined? It is. Okay, that worked. Awesome. Yeah, because this canvas, it's not the regular DOM element, right? It's like P5 wraps it in something. I'm not sure. So... now I think that should be one castling. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Sweet. Okay, I think this is working pretty great. I feel like I'd like to take a bit of time to clean up and refactor this a little bit. I'll tell you what we do. So, okay, the plan for next time will be... let's write some of this stuff out. So, we kind of need to set up... I'm just going to use node. And my idea is that this whole game logic and game state is going to be moved into the back end. And what it's going to do is probably open a WebSocket between the front end and the back end. And then just whenever a move's made, it's just going to broadcast the entire game state to the front end. So all of this will go into the back end. All that will be left in rendering is rendering the board and the pieces, because it's actually pretty stateless, right? Like the UI has no real state except for this thing, which will be gone. That might mean some of this stuff gets moved into the game state, so the front end doesn't have to recalculate if the king's in check. That can just be set on the game state itself. And then this little janky text box will be replaced basically with yeah, you know what, let me draw how I kind of picture it working. So we have the front end. Where's my tablet? I'm gonna plug it in. Okay. Probably picked terrible timing to try and do this. So you have the front end. God, there's something also with my tablet where it likes to join lines up if I write fast. P5. So what I'd originally hoped to do was, so we have Twitch chat, right? And apparently Twitch chat actually runs on IRC, or they at least expose IRC. So I was hoping that I could just actually have a pure JavaScript IRC client in the front end, like this. So they'd speak like IRC protocol. The benefit here would be the entire thing could be like just some static files, and I wouldn't need to run a backend, and people could point to themselves. They could put it in their in the OBS in their like stream overlay, and they'd just pass in like a token or something, right? Or even via like a URL parameter, and then that would get fed through into this. And in fact, I think you can view Twitch chat without being logged in, so it could potentially even work without any authentication. Like they'd pass in like their Twitch channel, right? So this would just be some static stuff, and then their browser running sort of within their stream OBS overlay would be talking via RSC to the Twitch chat. So there'd be literally no backend whatsoever. And state we could just put in like local storage on the front end. I thought that would have been real nice because there's like no architecture. It's literally just some static files we can serve up from somewhere. So I could let everyone in the world use this, and it would basically cost me nothing to operate. But unfortunately, the IRC is like a kind of binary, low-level thing. No, so basically, the state of the game would be there'd be one game at a time, like per Twitch streamer, right? Like going on in their chat. But the actual game state would either be totally transient, like just in the memory of JavaScript, or maybe it would go in like local storage. So I'd go to like this, and then I'd put like channel equals Dre Basilisk, and then it would connect to that Twitch channel and start monitoring the chat. It would check maybe in local storage if it had a saved game for that channel. But then everything would run on the client. And then maybe if you refresh the page, it would be able to resume the game because it would use like local storage or something. And then just by looking at what people post in the chat, it would like make the moves and then, you know, like reset the game when it's done and so on. I thought that would be really nice because there's literally just a front end to it. But apparently you cannot do this because IRC uses a level of sort of socket connection thing, which you just can't do in JavaScript apparently, like in the browser, just not supported. So what I will need to do is actually have no. So okay, let me show you OBS. So this thing here, this like chat overlay, is basically an embedded web browser, right? So the streamer would embed a web page in here, which would show the game. So then all of their audience would be able to see the status of the game. And then this web browser in here is running JavaScript, which is monitoring the chat somehow. So does that make sense? Yeah. So it would update the state of the game based on the chat. So it'd all be kind of connected, but there is no like centralized state. Or I suppose this streamer's PC in their like browser's local storage is like holding the state of the game. But I think unless I can reverse engineer like how this works, right? Yeah, basically making a bot for Twitch. Except it wouldn't even need to be a bot, right? It would be a web page that you could embed in a stream, and then automatically it would monitor the chat for that stream, and it would be like a live game that people in the chat could play. But I don't think you'd even need a bot, assuming there's a way to like read the chat without having a bot, right? Which I think there must be, because if I go to whatever page there is here, again, if I go here and look in the chat, then like here's the page. So I could open this up, and even if I'm not logged in, yeah, so I'm not logged in on this browser at all, but I'm seeing, I type something over here, I'm seeing this, right? So this is like a client over the chat, just implemented in JavaScript. Like I said, how does this work? Ah, I think I saw something there, IRCWS. Ah, maybe this could work. REST headers. Yeah, this is the thing, right? Like they run a web service. This is exactly what I would need to implement myself. Oh, that could be cool as well, yeah. So it wouldn't need to be running live on the stream, it could just put it into the chat. I guess if there are like ASCII characters for chess pieces, so I think you'd draw an ASCII art chessboard, but I don't know if the formatting would work. Yeah. So my hope was that we could do this. What I actually will need to do is probably have a use my tablet again. Backend using Node, which would use WebSockets and then IRC, because there are IRC client libraries for Node, which it looks like is exactly how the Twitch chat thing works. If we go in the dev tools, you can see that they're hitting this IRC WebSocket API, but I imagine there's some authentication which would be annoying for us to do, and this is not an API we're supposed to be able to just free to use, I would imagine. So I might look into this, like maybe I could just hook into this and then my dream of having no backend could work. But I will either just like bridge the messages across to the client, or I will have the game, or maybe we'll have the game state stored in here. So it will see messages coming in through Twitch, it will detect valid messages which are like move this piece to this square, then it will update the game state and then just send it all to the front end. So that's probably what I'll end up doing, unless I can hijack their IRC WebSocket API. That would be kind of nice. But I see there's this key which I imagine is like generated on the server and only valid for this session or something. So I'd have to like I'd have to do something kind of funky, like request this URL and then like scrape it for the token for the web service API or something, which seems a bit janky. I may as well just have a backend, I suppose. It'd probably be really fragile as well, because this is, I'm pretty sure this is not a public API. Like this is kind of what they recommend you do. You just use like an IRC client, but their like REST API, whatever, I believe doesn't include any chat stuff. I think this is the only like supported way to connect to chat. So that's probably what I'll do. I don't know, I might fiddle around with trying to make a WebSocket connection to their like little secret API thing. Maybe that'll work. Hopefully that makes sense though. So also, yeah, this is running embedded in the streamer's stream, like in a browser on their computer, and that's where the stuff is going on there. Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. I think I'll just continue updating this. So we want connect to see this, and then web socket server to so like the client would connect, they'd say, hey, I'm looking at the Stray Basilisk channel. The backend would load up any game state for that, and it would make moves based on what's happening in the chat, and then just keep sending the game state over back to the front end to render. Yeah, that's the idea. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully it will make more sense when we actually do it at the same time next week. So yeah, thanks so much everyone. It's been great also having some new people in the chat. I've been really appreciating the back and forth and the help and advice, you know, little things that I would probably never think to do myself. I would never have made the clicking UI stuff myself, because I had it in my mind that that would be too much of a pain in the ass, but it probably did save me time in the end. Awesome, thank you. You too. Okay. Yeah, take care everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you next time.